For humans, the world could be related to a plane engine. There are hundreds of moving parts, each doing their job to ensure that crashing and burning is not a feasible possibility. The United States military is no different from the rest of the world in this regard. This group is made up of thousands of courageous and heroic individuals that give their services and potentially even their lives for the betterment of their country. Every person makes sure to carry out their salient duty to make sure that America can remain on its feet. Just one of these brave individuals that kept America safe was a man by the name of Samuel Matthias Blauch Jr. Samuel Blauch was a valiant and intrepid man who was a civil engineer at the 343rd Civil Engineering Squadron and was more than willing to risk his life for his country. Samuel was born in Lebanon, Pennsylvania in July of 1964. For around the first half of his childhood, he stayed in Lebanon and went to the Lebanon School District. When he entered his middle school years in 1976, he moved to Myerstown and finished his schooling at Eastern Lebanon County School District. He never went to any colleges even while in the military. He did go to Votech School during high school, however. He had a nice life and a good family. Samuel had 7 siblings, 6 brothers and a sister. Their names, in order from oldest to youngest, not counting Samuel, are James, Lisa, John, Steve, Mike, Scott, and Jason. None of his siblings went on to join the military. Samuel also had 2 loving parents. During his childhood, there were 2 family members who had a constant military influence on Sam during his childhood. They were his uncles. Samuel had a multitude of reasons to join. To start off, his uncles who were in the military would share these amazing stories whenever they were around to Samuel and his siblings. Another reason to be stated is that Sam hadn't had any plans as to what he wanted to do with his life. He knew he didn't want to go to college, but he needed a job. Then his cousin came in, gave him an offer that was the final nail in the coffin to make Sam want to join the military, but more specifically, the United States Air Force. His cousin approached him with the idea of entering the military with some family bonus that they would be offered to get some more money than any others who joined without it. Samuel, upon enlisting, had to wait about a year before joining, as did his cousin because they were on the delayed list. Sam spent his time at the Myerstown Borough treating water and wastewater. This will be important for him going forward. When Samuel was finally in the actual military, he was sent to tech school with his cousin for the basic training. This training included things you'd expect, workouts, practicing with guns, but there was also a test called ASVAB test. He went to New Cumberland for his physical, then went to Harrisburg, then Pittsburgh, then finally at Antonio, Texas, where he had arrived at Laughlin Air Force Base to do his actual basic training. This training had hard workouts, learning of military code, military jobs, procedures, and other things alike. After basic training, he had to select his job in the civil engineering category.
For civil engineering, there is an abundance of subcategories that one can choose to go into. For Blauch, the choice was a no-brainer, despite all of the choices presented to him. Before his service truly began, Blauch was sat down to choose what he would pursue in the Air Force.
When I sat down to pick my job, it did come up, for what I qualified, and they said environmental support specialist. So I thought environment, it's outdoors, it sounded like something I was interested in. I was an avid hunter and fisherman at the time. So I asked what that was, and they said it was water and wastewater treatment. And I was like, that's it.
Thanks to his interest in and background on the job, Blauch was able to launch directly into training. Training for water and wastewater treatment was intricate, according to Blauch. There were numerous details that one had to learn and keep an eye on to ensure that they did their job correctly. Regardless of this minor setback, Blauch excelled in his job and learned quickly. During his time in service, Blauch never became a certified plant operator. However, after his time in the Air Force, he managed to obtain his wastewater operator's license in 1991. He has worked in and thoroughly enjoyed this field ever since. Blauch credits his success to the Air Force and is very grateful for the experience it has given him.
I owe everything to the Air Force because until this day, I still work in wastewater, and I am now superintendent for a local municipality where I've been working at that municipality for now 34 years. and still do what the Air Force taught me, so I owe everything to the Air Force.
Blauch did several other things besides civil engineering and water and wastewater treatment in the Air Force. During his free time, he partook in many fun activities with friends. For instance, Blauch was a proud member of the volleyball team for the Civil Engineering Squadron, which was made of enlisted airmen and officers. Blauch also played for the Pool League in Alaska and did well playing pool. Furthermore, Blauch made eternal memories with his friends as they went on fishing trips together in Alaska and helped bring back the fruits of his friends' hunting trips, which he would roast and eat while they fished. Blauch also engaged in activities that he would not have been able to had he not joined the Air Force. For example, he had the chance to visit Mount McKinley in Denali National Park, where he saw beautiful scenery and wildlife. He also got to see the Thunderbirds air show, which Blauch found interesting. Perhaps the most important part of his endeavors, however, were the people he met and the lessons he learned. Blauch made friends with many of his squad mates, two of which he still keeps in touch with to this day. He also befriended and learned several valuable life lessons from his instructors.
Going into the military and basic training especially, they drive respect into you, and they teach you to be a better person, and to have integrity, and do the best you can do. And the military, I owe a lot, because I don't know where I would be if I had not enlisted and gained the respect and the knowledge that I have now.
In 1988, after his 4 years of service, Blauch made a tough yet honorable decision to leave the military while in Del Rio, Texas at Laughlin Air Force Base. As he explained, this decision was incredibly difficult to reach and caused a variety of different emotions.
Well, like I said, it was mixed emotions, because I was on the fence of re-enlisting or not re-enlisting. In the end, I think I made the right choice, so, I'm happy with my choice.
After finally leaving the military, Blauch would not return to his home in Myerstown, Pennsylvania until an entire year after his service had ended. This is due to the fact that he had married a girl who had served in the Air Force with him. However, things unfortunately did not work out, and Blauch was finally able to go back home in the year 1989. When he finally returned to Myerstown, Blauch needed a job in order to help him readjust to civilian life. Upon first arriving, he worked in Richmond Cabinetry, which is where he found a flyer for where he currently works, the water and wastewater plant in Myerstown, Pennsylvania. His former boss, who was the current boss of that facility, offered Blauch an interview, which he happily accepted. It was an easy decision to hire Blauch, as he already had a plethora of background information and time thanks to his job in the military. As of now, Blauch's old boss retired 2 years ago, leaving him as the new boss of the plant. In conclusion, Samuel Matthias Blauch was a courageous man that enlisted into the 343rd Civil Engineering Squadron in the Air Force. Like the engines in the planes flown by the Air Force, there are hundreds of moving parts that are involved in keeping the United States military and in turn the entire country afloat. Samuel Blauch was just one of the heroic people that enlisted into the military in 1984 and was willing to risk his life for his friends, family, and even complete strangers. For this, the United States is forever grateful for Samuel Blauch's service, and it is doubtful that the citizens of America will ever forget all that he risked for the betterment of the country.